Okay, so here we are with Vecna, which is our next Venus flytrap to pot. I'm not going to be showing the entire sequence in this video because the previous video already shows how you can repot your Venus flytraps. But what I really want to focus on here is the fact that I am indeed going to be splitting up these plants. You can see here we have quite a big collection of plants. I can see 1, 2, possibly 3 root systems there. But this little guy on the end, I'm actually going to separate. Possibly even his next door neighbor, but it depends on how they come out of the soil because as usual, I don't want to be ripping apart bulbs and things like that. If it's in a tight little family, I'm going to keep it that way. But I just wanted to show you, Vecna, as you can see, he has some root damage or not root damage, leaf damage here. These are leaves that I'm going to want to trim out. And basically what I do there is I use really fine point scissors. You just gently go as deep into that leaf as you can and cut away. Proper brown leaves like that would usually break. But these guys, for example, they're not doing anything for photosynthesis. I know there's a fly on there, but it's a very, very old one, so he's not getting any food from that, so don't worry. He won't starve. You see there's a lot of leaf litter underneath. So like this one here, I might actually want to first get him out of the soil before I tug on that. And like here you would see, for example, there is a dead head on this one, but the leaf is still intact. So I would just cut that trap off. So he can still photosynthesize with the leaf, but he doesn't need that dead trap. There's another dead leaf in here. So you can see I'm using my tweezers quite frequently to coax things out, and then my scissors just to cut that away. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Just some maintenance here. And then that whole leaf just came out because it was all the way finished to the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do at this point, and then we're going to separate his bulbs. I'm satisfied now that I've cut away enough dead litter. You can see quite a bit came off there. I'm not going to go too crazy here. Generally with your Venus flytraps, you can do that as maintenance, but I only really do it if it's affecting the photosynthesis of the rest of the leaves, like if they're covering a lot of leaves, if they're impacting on new growth. For example, there you can see there's a little one coming up there, new trap. So I sort of play it by ear. It's not necessarily bad to leave old leaves and stuff in the soil, although these sorts of plants should never be fertilized or fed in any way aside from if you do give them bugs, which is really unnecessary. I don't intentionally feed mine. I let them catch all their own food because they survive through photosynthesis. So keeping the leaf system really healthy is the most important thing. You'll notice that this trap here is kind of a bronze color. And that is the first indication to me that gives me the warning that there could be mites present. So I'm going to do a really close inspection. This little trap here, there's a few traps that are kind of discolored, and it usually starts at the trap and then the leaf itself also gets discolored. So before I replant him, I'm going to just check him for pests. The mites are absolutely tiny, so you really either need a magnifying glass, or something that you can see really closely. So I'm going to have a look at that and see if he needs to be sprayed. I might actually spray him just for good measure before I repot. Okay, I was unable to confirm for certain if there are mites, but I do suspect that there could be. So it's okay to spray them from time to time. I'll show you in a second the spray that I use. So this is the product that was recommended by Josie Carnivores. You have to dilute it a hell of a lot. And then I put it into a little spray bottle and I basically just spritz all over the top of the plant, make it completely wet. And I'll show you once he's repotted, because you can use this not only when they are infected, but if you do have, for example, a pot that is infected, you can spray the neighbors just to give them a little bit of a preventative thing. So I am going to spray him. Full disclosure, I've never tried this on anything other than trumpet pitchers. So my parrot pitcher I've used it on, and my trumpet pitcher, and also my fly traps. I've never tried it on any other coniferous plant. But if I were to get pests, I would give it a bash. So yes, I'm going to separate now and show you the two separated plants. So just quickly use the same procedure as what you did for the other one. Just gently get that soil softened up, loosened up, so that it's easier to pull out. And then again, I'm going to use my spoon in that same motion. Now we have a round pot, so we might have a slightly different outcome in terms of how it comes out. But because I'm separating these two plants, my plan is to get this guy out first from this angle and then work on this cluster over here. Okay, because Vecna is a slightly older plant, you can see that this root system runs really deep. So the soil was also very moist because I had given water. But you can see everything is indeed intact. So this little cluster here, I'm going to do the same thing I did before with just removing excess soil by hand, prepping his pot first. So he's going to go, this big cluster is going to go into one of the new square pots. And then the smaller one here, I'm going to put straight in this pot. I know that seems like it's a bit large, but these guys really do grow a hell of a lot in summer. And I don't want to have to repot again because it does upset them. So that's why we do it in dormancy. So I'm just going to prep the pots quickly. I've already got my mush with the clean soil, the new soil underneath, as you can see. I'm just going to get that sorted and clean out this pot here. So again, I'm sort of par filling, we could say, the pots. Again, check your levels, check the depth of the roots. What kind of depth do you need? With this one, I'm nearly there. With this one, I'm going to need a lot more. And I'm just going to top up with dry soil in this instance. So again, I've topped up my pots using dry soil this time, just so that it's a little bit easier to keep the plant in place. And as you can see, like I did before, I'm just gently removing pretty much the gump around the edges here. Okay, not too much. We just want to free up the plant a little bit. Don't want to be causing too much of a kerfuffle. And then, can't really see the pot there, but I'm going to be placing him on the surface like that. And I have estimated the height perfectly this time, which is great. So same procedure here, filling with soil all the way around. I'm not going to show you that process, but what I am going to do is just show you our little baby over here. So this little guy, as you can see, doesn't have that much integrity to protect him. So I don't necessarily want to be removing all of the soil around here. I'm just going to gently place him on top of the soil like that. Obviously at an angle he's not going to stay there, but upright he will. And I can even push down ever so slightly just to anchor him a little bit in that new soil. And then I'll be filling that using my teaspoon. Okay, so our little guy is in his soil. He endured a little bit more than I would have liked for him to have gone through. But because he's quite small, it's inevitable. I set off 1, 2, 3, 4 traps here, and he only has 6. But it's okay, those traps will reopen. You can see that one accidentally caught a little piece of this fluffy stuff. But it's okay, don't stress, they will reopen. I just need to give him his water and get him into the sun. And in the meantime, I'm going to sort out Vecna, our parent plant here. Again, this is going to be fiddly because there's a lot of gaps there that I need to fill. But it should be okay because these traps on the outer edges I can avoid quite well. So same procedure as before. And that is how you replant your fly traps.